Okay, so today we're going to do polynomial long division and synthetic division. So first we're going to start with direct substitution. So direct substitution means just putting it in, right? So let's do direct substitution to evaluate t to the a equals negative a to the fifth minus a squared plus a plus 5 when a equals negative 2. So to do this, we just plug in negative 2. So let's be really careful with our signs. So I'm going to have parentheses, minus parentheses negative 2 squared plus parentheses negative 2 plus 5. And this will give me, what's 2? So 2 times 2 is 4, 8, 16, 32. But it's negative and then it's positive again. So we have 32. And then negative 2 squared is positive 4 minus 2 plus 5. So we have 28, 26, 31. Alright, so that was direct substitution. Just putting that right in there. And now we're going to learn about synthetic substitution. So synthetic, if you've heard the word synthetic, it means like fake, right? So what this is it's going to be like a shortcut. Okay. So synthetic substitution is a method for evaluating a polynomial that uses fewer steps. Okay, so these steps don't really make sense until you do it. So we're going to do the first one, and then we're going to go back and read the steps. Okay, so evaluate t of x equals negative x to the fifth minus 7x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2 when x equals negative 1. So we're going to take this guy right here, we're going to make a negative 1, and then we're going to make an L shape. And then each one of these is going to be, you're going to take the coefficient, and you're going to put it in the box. So one thing that's missing is we don't have an x to the fourth term. So x to the fourth is 0x to the fourth. So I'm going to put this over here. Missing coefficients, or missing terms, use a 0. Okay, so what does this mean? We have this negative 1. Then for x to the fourth, we have 0. For x to the third, we have negative 7. For x squared, we have 3. And then for x, we're also missing a term, 0, and then negative 2. So the trickiest thing with this is making sure you have the zeros, right? Because we have x to the fifth, x to the fourth, x to the third, x squared, x, and then no x's. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to bring this number down, negative 1, and then we have 2 steps that we do over and over. We're going to multiply and then add, multiply and then add. So this is negative 1 times negative 1. We get positive 1, and then we add these. 0 plus 1 is 1. And then we multiply again. Multiply 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Then we add. Negative 7 plus negative 1 is negative 8. Multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay, and so then this answer that we get at the very end is our answer. So the way that we want to write that is t, right, because our original function was t of x, t of negative 1 equals 9. Okay, so now that we've done it once, let's go back and read the steps. So write the value to be evaluated outside and the coefficients in descending order inside. So we did that, right? We put the negative 1 and then we put the descending order. Step 2, bring down the leading coefficient and multiply the number on the left. So we brought it down, then we multiplied. Write the product from the last step under the second coefficient, add and bring down. Multiply the sum from the last step on the number on the left. Repeat for the remaining coefficients. The final sum is the value of f of x. Okay. So now that we've done it once, let's do it again. So we have our reverse long division sign. We put our -2 here. And then we have our coefficients. So we have -1, we're missing a 4, we're missing a 3, -2, 1, and then just the constant. So lots of zeros here. Okay, so we bring it, the first one, we bring it down, then we multiply. -2 times -1 is 2. Bring it down, multiply, bring it down, and add. Multiply, add, multiply. Okay, add -13, multiply, 26, add 31. So we have t of -2 equals 31. And if you notice, that was actually the same equation that we did right here with direct substitution. So we did this, but once you get used to synthetic substitution, it's way quicker. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video and I want you to try. So try evaluating f of x using synthetic substitution. Okay, so we got f of -3 equals 350. So these numbers started to get really big, but I just started to use my calculator. Okay, so whenever you're not sure, you can check with your calculator. So, see if I can focus this. So I just put the equation in the calculator, and then I went to my table. -3 was 350, but you want to be able to do it without your calculator. So just make sure you go through and practice. All right, next step is we're going to learn about long division. So you should remember how to do long division from like grade school. But we're going to do a quick refresher. We're going to do long division. So 1154 divided by 27. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do, right, is you want to figure out something that can go into 11, which it can't. So then we do 115. So we can have 4 27s go into 115. We multiply this, so that is 108. And then we minus it. So we're left with 74. And then this would be 2. So we have 54. And then we're left with 20. And so we have 42 and 20 over 27. Alright, so calculator is telling me it's right. So remember, you multiply, well, you divide, you multiply, you subtract, and you bring down, right? And then we have our remainder. Okay, so there's a video that I'm going to link to that reminds you how to do this. So whenever you do long division, you're going to do a similar process with polynomials, but it's a very tedious process. Okay, so we're just going to go for it, okay? So we have x squared minus 3x plus 5 divided by 3x to the 4th minus 5x to the 3rd. If we're missing a term, we want to put a 0 again. So plus 0x squared plus 4x minus 6. Alright, so let me put that in a bright color so you guys remember, right? Missing terms, use 0 again. Okay, so our steps again for long division are divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So first what we're going to do is we're going to look at this first guy here, and we're going to try and figure out how many times they can go into this first term. So pretty much we're dividing this term by this term. So 3x to the 4th divided by x squared is 3x squared. And then I'm going to multiply this. So we get 3x to the 4th minus 9x cubed plus 15x squared. And then I subtract. So something that's important is to put parentheses around the whole thing so that you don't forget your negative signs and you're subtracting it. So 3x to the fourth minus 3x to the fourth is 0. Negative 5x cubed minus negative 9x cubed is adding 9x, so we get 4x cubed minus 15x squared, and then we pull down the rest, plus 4x minus 6. So next, we're going to try and find how x squared goes into 4x cubed. So we do plus 4x. So we did the divide and then we multiply, so we're going to multiply this. I'm going to do a different color because I'm sort of showing each step, right? So we have 4x cubed minus 12x squared plus 20x. We're going to subtract it. And we get 0. We get negative 3x squared. 4 minus 20 is negative 16x, and then we bring down the minus 6. And then finally, I'll go back to blue because I don't have any other pens. We get negative 3, and then we multiply. So negative 3x squared plus 9x minus 15. We subtract. So this is adding. So negative 25x plus 9. And we can't go any further because this has x squared and this has x. So for this one, our final answer would be this top part plus this as a remainder. So our final answer would be, let's see if I can fit it in over here, 3x squared plus 4x minus 3 minus, plus 25x, plus 9 over x squared minus 3x plus 5. So we always put the remainder over what we were originally dividing by to get that fraction. Okay, so it's definitely a lot. You're going to have to practice, and you might have to rewatch this video, but we always divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. It's the same thing as normal long division. So let's try another one just to get our practice in. So divide f of x by m minus 2. Okay, so we start with m minus 2 on the outside. We have 6m to the fourth. We're only missing the m squared term. So we always want to pick how do we get this first term to go into this first term. So we're going to do 6m cubed, and then we multiply. So we have 6m to the fourth minus 12m cubed. And then we subtract it. And we're left with, we're left with 0 plus 0. So there's nothing there. So then we're going to bring this down. Plus 0. So we're just left with m minus 2. And so this, we just do plus 1, multiply, m minus 2, and we're left with 0. So this one was actually really easy. This divided by this is just 6m cubed plus 1, because we had a remainder of 0. All right. If you can, I'd like you to try C. So please pause the video and come back and check and see if you got it right. Alright, so the answer for this one is n cubed minus 7n. So we multiplied by n cubed. We got left over with 0. We multiplied by negative 7. And we also got a remainder of 0. So we got n cubed minus 7n. So these take a lot of practice. So go through the video and practice. Watch it again if it doesn't make sense. Okay. Alright, so next is synthetic division. So synthetic division is just like long division, but it's quicker and more efficient. So I want to add a note. Can only do when dividing by a binomial of degree 1. So for example, like what you normally think of as like a factor. So like x plus 1 or x minus 3. Something like that. Okay, so we're going to divide x cubed plus 5x squared minus 7x plus 2 by x minus 2. So, let's see. So first step, take the value that makes, take the value of x that makes the factor equal to 0 on the outside. 2, put coefficients in descending degree order. Don't forget zeros, right? That's the zeros exponents. Wow, this handwriting is really bad, sorry. Multiply and add, repeat. Last number is remainder. Okay. So we're going to do our synthetic division again. So we're going to do a little upside down long division. We're going to put the value that makes this 0. So 2 minus 0 equals 0, so we're going to put 2. So essentially think of like the opposite of what you've seen, right? Then we have our coefficients. So we have 1, 5, negative 7, and 2. We're not missing any here. And then we bring this guy down, and then we multiply and add. Multiply and add. Multiply and add. Okay, so this time this isn't the answer, this is the remainder. So the answer is we're going to take these coefficients and then subtract 1 degree. So we have 1x squared plus 7x plus 7, remainder 16. So we're going to write that as x squared plus 7x plus 7 plus 16 over x minus 2. So there's synthetic division, way quicker than long division, but you want to be able to do both. Because if this was like x squared plus 2x minus 2, then we wouldn't want to do synthetic division, we want to do long division. Alright. E. Determine if x plus 3 is a factor of f of x by using synthetic division. If so, factor completely. So we're going to put the negative 3 here, because we do the opposite, right? What would make that 0? Then we have 2, 1, negative 8, 21. We're not missing any zeros. We bring this first one down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So we're left with the remainder 0. So because remainder is 0, x plus 3 is a factor. Okay, so what do we have left? So we have x plus 3, 2x squared minus 5x plus 7. And we're going to see if we can factor this. So we're going to try and do 2x, x. So if I do minus, so these need to be negative 7. So they either both have to be negative or both have to be positive. They can't both be positive or else this number would be positive. So we could do -7. Okay, but it can't be -1 and -7, or else it would be 2 negative, right? So we can't factor any further. This is our final answer. Okay. Last one before application. Suppose you know that x equals -2 is a 0 of this function. Find the other zeros. So this time it didn't give us the factor, but we still know that this is a -2 because that's a 0. So we have 1, 2, -9, -18. So this should have a 0 remainder. So we bring it down 1, -2, 0, 0, -9, 18, 0. So we have x squared minus 9, x plus 2, right? Because it's x equals -2, so the factor is x plus 2. So we need to find the other zeros. So this one we can break down, x plus 3, x minus 3. So that's the difference of squares. That's a vocab term. And so our other zeros are going to be -3 and 3. All right, one more problem. This is an application problem. Okay, suppose the profit in millions of dollars for a knockoff Crocs manufacturer can be modeled by P equals -x cubed plus 4x squared plus x, where x is the number of knockoff Crocs made in millions. Currently, the company produces 4 million knockoff Crocs and makes a profit of 4 million. Not bad. Can the company make a lesser number of knockoff Crocs and still make the same profit? So we know that if we could plug in x and y, right? So we know that these are both in millions. So we have a point 4, 4. So let's put that in. So we have 4 equals negative x cubed plus 4x squared plus x. So if I plug in x's, that would equal 4. So, right, we're trying to figure out when this will happen. We already know that this happens at 4, but we want to find out if there's other x's where this happens. So we're going to move the 4 to the other side. And we get 0, -x cubed plus 4x squared plus x minus 4. So we want to see if there's another time where this is true other than 4. So we're going to do our reverse long division. We have -1, 4, 1, -4. We already know that it happens when x equals 4. So we're going to find the remainder of that so that we can find the new zeros. Okay. So we're going to put a 4 here, bring it down, multiply, bring it, right, add it, multiply, add it, multiply, add it. So we have -x squared plus 1, and then x minus 4. So this factor already tells us that we make 4 million profit when we sell 4 million Crocs, right? We already knew that. Now we need to figure out the zeros for this guy to try and figure out the other times where we can make this happen. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1 minus x squared. And now I can see using difference of squares, which is a vocab word, right? This is 1 plus x, 1 minus x. So we know that right here we have our zeros of x equals -1 and x equals 1. Well, we can't make -1 million shoes, but we can make 1 million shoes. So the company can make a lesser number. So yeah, the company can make 1 million Crocs and still make a profit of 4 million. So if it wants 4 million profit, you can either make 1 million Crocs or 4 million Crocs, just based on this equation. So yeah, this one's really tricky, but go through and hopefully understand it and how to use synthetic division, and you can always email me.